this morning to talk us through a little bit of issues on values, morals, and ethics. You see, if you're going to be successful in life, and I try to be guided when I use words, when you say successful, most times in this part of the world, what comes to mind is financial success. What comes to mind is ability to earn a good living and live well. If you can value time, you are on your way to success. One of the major things that make the first world countries better than us is that people there value time. You know, we hear a lot people say time is money, but for us it's a slogan. The reality of it doesn't hit you. If you have 24 hours in a day, every other human being has the same amount. No one has 24 hours and 1 minute. So if you spend your own time on frivolities while some other person is using his own time judiciously, it's a matter of that same time. You will know who has actually judiciously used his time and who has wasted his own time. A lot of times when you go for events, you see people who hold a microphone as masters of ceremonies say things like, without waste of time. Without waste of time. That is, it's only in Nigeria they speak that kind of English. Because you cannot waste my time. It is my time. If I come here and you are doing something I do not want, at the time I need to move, I will move. I knew I had to be here this morning for 10. I was not in the town yesterday. I came in last night. This morning I've had to go to work. And I assume I need to be here by 10 because I need to be out of here at a particular time because there's a time I have to be out of this town today. Can you waste my time? It is absurd for youth to sit down and not value their time. Ethics, morals, and values. Value is something that you hold dear. The possessor of it holds it dear because it is important to that person. Back in the day when I was growing up, a lot of people have left the value system that they were brought up by. You have parents those days that used to be strict, that used to be very, in African parlance, we say they are very wicked because they wanted you to do what was right. You had values that included you not picking something that was not yours. You not going out at certain times of the day. But as we began to grow, in the spirit of the hustle, most of these things began to get eroded. And that is why we have been led to where we are. What values do you have? Of honesty, of truth, of lending a helping hand? Back in the day, if I was older than you and I was walking towards you with a bag in my hand, you wanted to pick it up from me. You know why? Because there was this value of service. Right now, nobody wants to serve nobody. Once I'm as tall as you are, I'm as fat as you are, I'm as fair as you are, we are equal. It does not matter what you have achieved or what I have not achieved. Sometimes we even take it to as far as church. So that when somebody is talking to you like I'm doing now, you're already looking at the person and say, hi, it is senior me. Waiting to know when I don't know. Because somehow, anybody that is speaking to you from a position that you do not accept, you cannot get anything from. Because as soon as the person starts to speak, you already tell yourself that I know exactly what he wants to say. So because you already know, anything he's saying, you'll be like, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it, but you are getting nothing. That is why youth of today know so much, yet know nothing at all. When you bring a topic of discourse, everybody is interested. They want to talk about it. You talk so much about it, but you are not doing anything because it is not intrinsic. You have not digested it to become a part of you. What are morals? Morals are actually relative values. That is, you already have a value. Because this talk is whether it is the right or the wrong value. Because there are right and wrong values. Because this talk is not something that is lengthy, we have to abridge it. But you see, when you have morals, you see that guy is morally upright. That's what people say. Why? Because he doesn't do the normal things that boys do. So now, it is you who is morally upright that is the odd person. It is very regular now, very normal for people to see you doing the right thing and be wondering, what did they do? Because you're doing the right thing, which is the direct opposite of what it used to be. Before now, it was when you did something wrong, people were. But now, when you do something right, people are wondering, where is he from? Whose son is he? You see boys who have decided that they want to go the right path, being laughed at because they have kept morality in their values. That you know what is right and wrong, the difference between right and wrong makes you a moral person. Because what you have succeeded in doing is that when you're going to do something that is not right, something tells you that this is wrong. There are people who don't know. I hope you know that. There are people who do not know the difference between right and wrong. So they do anything. When they're doing it, when someone calls their attention to the fact that this is wrong, they're like, wow, really? Why? How? Then you think that they are joking until you start to engage them. Then you discover that they really did not know that what they were doing was wrong. So when you are able to decipher between right and wrong, you are a moral person. But it is to add that moral to good values and make them work in the right way that leads you to success. And like I said before, don't mistake success for financial freedom. Don't mistake success for somebody who is known all around town. Because some people, when you are known, when everybody knows you, you think that you're successful. That is why celebrities are now like the order of the country. When you see somebody's face on a billboard, you say, that's Mr. X. And the person believes that because he's known by everyone, he's successful. But you see something, whether they're successful or not, they are shakers of the society. They are movers. They are people who shape culture. Because if you know me, constantly you watch me, it's a matter of time you will start doing like me. Does it shock you why people who preach in certain kinds of ways have proteges who preach in that same way? It is because a lion cannot birth a dog. It is what you have that you will give. And once someone is ready to take what you have, it's a matter of time. Don't forget, I try to start by telling you about time and the fact that time is what everything is dependent on. If you're going to become better than you are today, it is about time. Back in the day when you were in the university, for those of you who went to university, wherever it is you went to, you will discover that there were different kinds of students. Different kinds of students. The ones who had the values of hard work and the ones who had the values of no work at all. You and I can go back now in our mind's eye and see the result for everyone. If, for instance, you will agree with me that success is not financial. Because sometimes when you want to watch it, you'll be like, even though they're not a good class that time, so they're not there hammer now. And when you think like that, you are on the wrong path because you are not seeing success for what it actually is. I tell young people, the best thing you can do for yourself ever is to define success to yourself and put it down. Define it and put it down. Because if you don't put it down, people will change the definition for you along the way. But if you know what it is for you and you are going after it, no matter what happens, you will remember. And if you don't even remember, all you need to do is bring it back out and take a look at it. Your ethics is what stands you out. If I know you and someone else the same day, the reason our relationship will move further than the other person's own is because of the ethical values that you represent or that you carry. If I know, for instance, that when it comes to this, your hand cannot be found there. Because that you have morals and that you have values, if you are not ethical, you could actually lose yourself, even though you have those morals and you have the values imputed in you. Let me take you back to Nigeria and why we are where we are, because that's the context we are supposed to be looking at. How many of you know that back in the day, the reason people bought cars was for mobility? Yeah, you buy a car, it's so that you can move. That is why those days people had motorcycles. Not until it became what we began to call Okada, it was something that families had as their mobility tool. So father, mother, and children will ride on it to church, they'll ride on it to work, because it was taking you from one part of town to the other. That was what it was about. But suddenly, it changed. The reason you want to buy a car now is not for mobility, because you don't even need it probably, because you don't even do what needs you to be mobile. But you need it for status. That is why if I buy a car and I tell my friend on the phone, say I buy a car, instead of him to tell me congratulations, he says, which motor? Then when you say it's Toyota, I say which model? You say it's a Corolla, I say which year? What does the year do for me? Does the year move me? But the reality is that the values have dropped to that depth where now you don't see the need for the real reason, you see it for the other reason. So when you are struggling now to hammer that money, it is not because you want to do the right things. Look at the most successful people on the earth. They got success, some relatively young, some middle age, and some at old age. It tells you that it has no age limit. In Nigeria, because we are predominantly employees, we look at life to start at a particular age. And when you are certain ages and you haven't achieved certain things, you begin to see yourself as a failure. If you were somewhere where success can come at any time and still be seen as success, you won't be in a hurry. What is chasing you and what are you chasing? Where actually are you going? The essence of you being here is to solve problems. And you could be solving problems and be hungry. But you know what? It's a matter of time. People are not patient. You want to do it today and get the money tomorrow. Get the money tomorrow to impress people who don't like you. People who you would actually be believing you are impressing, but behind you, they are just looking at you and look at him. The reality is that we must go back to problem solving. We must go back to begin to see why we are where we are and what we can bring in. I was glad when Joshua was talking about the fact that this was birthed as a result of something that you saw. I'm telling you sincerely, it's a year plus old, and people will be saying to you, how come it hasn't gone bigger than this? With all the successes recorded. Because people do not want to spend time. People want to succeed right now and right here. It's about the person. It's about the one who started it, becoming big, his face being all over the town, so that people know that this is the person who is behind the initiative. But is that what this is about? This is supposed to be about shaping people's minds to think in the right direction. Because if you have 100 youths who are thinking in the right direction in a city, I'm talking of just 100, there will be transformation instantly. Because the reason things are not transformed in this country is that we don't actually buy them. When somebody is talking to us about a particular new thing that we need to be doing, people are not interested. People are already telling you, not today. And when you start it with not today, no matter how hard you try, not today must happen. We have been in this town for years. I've been here for quite a while, and I have seen people try to institute traffic rules and regulations, just traffic. And intelligent people, well-to-do people, wise people will see traffic light that is red and drive through it. It's a lack of values. Because if one of the greatest values you can have is the value of life. And if you know that driving through red traffic light means that you could kill somebody. Because for instance, if mine is red, it means the other side probably will be green. And the green people will be driving through. But I'm just driving through a red light. It means I don't value people's lives. That is why people who observe traffic light actually do. It's not because the road is not clear. It's because they know that my refusal to obey this could lead me to killing somebody. And because I value the life of people who are coming on the other side, I will stop. Not because the government is watching and there's a camera to catch me. Because if they don't catch you and you kill somebody, have you not caught yourself? When people are in a hurry, I'm always asking, the only reason you can be in a hurry is that you are a planless person. I know I should be in Siloko by 9 o'clock, and I live in Ugbo, and I'm leaving my house by 5 minutes to 9. Why will I not drive recklessly? Because I really believe I need to